Hi, good morning, everyone. So today we are going to go ahead and start our session with probability. Now, whenever we talk about the different kind of situations, we can go ahead and we can divide the situations in two main parts. The first is called as a deterministic phenomena. A deterministic phenomena is where you can go ahead and tell with certainty what will be the answer. Like for example, if I go ahead and I ask you what is the formula of velocity? What is the formula of force? Right? What is the formula of in economics, say GDP? There are certain formulas that we know कि ये यही होगा, V will be equal to U plus AT, right? Or force will be mass into acceleration. When we go ahead and when we have a certain formula with us, that is called as a deterministic phenomena. On the other hand, we can go ahead and have a non-deterministic phenomena, which is called as a probabilistic phenomena, which means that nothing will happen with certainty. For example, when we toss a coin, we can get head, we can get tail, right? There is a probability attached to head and tail. When the coin is in the air, I cannot tell you with certainty ki head aa raha hai ya tail, right? Both have equal probability of coming. So those phenomena which can have probability attached to them, they are called as probabilistic phenomena. And those where I know the answer for sure, that if you give me mass and acceleration, this will be the force, right? When I can go ahead and just put that thing in the formula, then that is basically going to be a deterministic phenomena. We are in our statistics throughout interested in the probabilistic phenomena. Now let us go ahead and talk about two things. One is called as a trial and other is called as an event. A trial is the experiment which you are conducting. Like for example, I am going ahead and conducting a trial of going ahead and tossing a coin, right? An event, also called as an outcome. An event or outcome is the result of that trial, right? So when I toss a coin, I can either get head or I can get tail. So this outcome that I see, that becomes the event, right? So trial is the experiment that you conduct, like tossing a coin. The outcome which you go ahead and you see, that becomes an event. Similarly, here throwing a dice can be a trial. But what numbers you will get when you throw a dice, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, those are basically the outcomes of your trial or the events of your trial. There is something which is known as exhaustive events. Exhaust. Exhaust means taking the entire sample space. So when we say exhaustive events, it means that we are going ahead and we are talking about the total number of possible outcomes. Just for example, if I say when I toss a coin, I get head or tails. So head and tails together, they exhaust the entire space. There is no third thing that can happen. Ya head aayega ya tail aayega. So these are exhaustive events. They exhaust the entire space. Similarly, suppose I tell you that I toss two coins, right? So when I toss two coins, I can either get head, two heads, two tails, first head, second tail, first tail, second head. These four events together, they exhaust the entire sample space. There is no fifth thing that can take place. So this this together, they exhaust the space. यही चार चीजें हो सकती हैं. So together they will be called as exhaustive events. So what is an exhaustive event? The total outcomes, right, that we have whenever we do something, do an event, whatever total outcomes we can have, that will be called as exhaustive events. Yes, sample space is total number of outcomes. Absolutely. Total outcomes is nothing but the sample space. Now you have mutually exclusive events. Two events are said to be mutually exclusive if they have nothing in common. They have nothing in common. They exclude each other. उनमें कुछ भी common नहीं है. So for example, if you look at the set theory, right, you would have heard things like A union B, A intersection B. What are these things? So if I take two set A and set B, right, then whatever is the common part between A and B, that is called as A intersection B. This is common between A and B. And what is A union B? When I take all elements of A and all elements of B. So when we talk about A union B, it means that I am going ahead and taking all of this and all of this. So A intersection B is what is common between A and B. Now, when we talk about mutually exclusive events, it means that they have nothing in common. So when they have nothing in common, it means that this is my A and this is B. There is no commonality, no intersection. Or A intersection B is phi, it is 0. There is no common thing between A and B. So when there is nothing common between A and B, then they are called as mutually exclusive event. They exclude each other. जैसे यहाँ पर, if I go ahead and I say that event A is getting 2 heads and event B is getting 2 tails. So event A is HH, event B is TT. They have nothing in common, right? Then we can go ahead and say that they are exclusive of each other. But if I go ahead and I label it like this, that event A is at least 1 head, right? And event B is at most 1 head. When you toss 2 coins, you get at least 1 head and B hai maximum 1 head. So at least 1 head means what? 1 or 2 heads. So either it will include events which have 1 head or which have 2 heads. And at most 1 head means what? Maximum 1 head. Mane no head or 1 head. So now if I try to find the common between the two, I can see that there are common events between the two, right? So we can go ahead and we can say that, yes, there is commonality between the two. I think, but no. So there are certain formulas to get A union B. You should be aware that A plus B minus A intersection B is A union B. The number of elements in A plus B minus A intersection B is A union B. This is the relation between A, B, A union B and A intersection B. Okay. So yes, so here they are not mutually exclusive. They have something in common, so they will not be exclusive of each other. Now, here the next thing is where we talk about favorable events. Favorable events is when we want to talk about the probability of the event which interests us. So for example, if I tell you find the probability that it will rain, it means that my favorable event is raining. So जिसका भी मुझे probability निकालना है, that will be called as my favorable event. For example, if I tell you find probability of getting 2 heads when a coin is tossed, again, favorable event will be the probability of getting 2 heads. So favorable means nothing, but what interests you. आप किस चीज में interested हो, क्या निकालना चाहते हो, that becomes your favorable event. Then we have something which is called as equally likely events. Equally likely events are those events which have equal probability of occurrence. So when probability of event A and B is equal to each other, then A and B are called equally likely events. Just for example, if I tell you A is getting head when a coin is tossed and B is getting tail when a coin is tossed. So probability of A is half and probability of B is also half. So A and B can be called as equally likely events. Similarly, when you throw a dice, the probability of getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, this is all equal to each other and it is equal to 1 by 6. So these are all equally likely events. The probability should be equal in this case. Favorable events is nothing but what you are interested in finding. So for example, if I tell you find probability of head when coin is tossed, तो जो निकालना है हेड का probability निकालना है, so my favorable event will be getting head. So whatever you need to find, that will be called as favorable event. Now we have the concept of independent events. Independent events are those events which are not affected by other events. Take an example. Just I tell you that event A is getting head when coin is tossed. And event B is getting number 6 when a dice is thrown. So will event A affect event B? क्या A में head आए या tails आए उससे फर्क पड़ेगा कि dice में क्या आ रहा है? नहीं, right? So occurrence of A will not affect B. Whether you actually get head here या tails here, what outcome you will get when a coin is tossed will not affect the outcome you will get when a dice is tossed. दोनों अलग चीजें हैं, एक से दूसरे को फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. One will not be affected by the other. So we can go ahead and say that these are independent events. Occurrence of event A is not affecting occurrence of event B. But suppose I go ahead and I tell you that A is whether it will rain or not. And B is whether you will go to college or not. Then A is affected by B, right? Or sorry, B is affected by A. Your going to college will be affected by whether it is raining or not. There can be some relation that if it rains, you will not go to college. So these can be dependent events. Okay. So independent events are those events. I will do its formula afterwards when we do conditional probability. Abhi nahi karna hai. But just understand this thing. Independent events are those events in which occurrence of one does not affect occurrence of other. एक के होने से दूसरे को फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. The two things are very different from each other. Mutually exclusive and independent events are different. You can write here the formula, but I will explain separately sometime in the next class. When we talk about mutually exclusive event, it means they have nothing in common. उनमें कुछ भी common नहीं है. So A and B के बीच में जो common part है, that should be 0. There should be nothing common between A and B. Probability of A intersection B is 0. Nothing common. But when we talk about independent events, then probability of A intersection B will be A into B, which I will explain later why. So the two things are different from each other. दोनों same चीजें नहीं है, right? So when we talk about mutually exclusive events, it means that they have nothing in common. उनमें कुछ common नहीं है, right? But when I talk about independent events, it means when one is occurring, other is not getting affected, right? If I am going for a movie, I am not affected by your choices of movie, right? वो independent है. मेरा decision is not affected by yours. So independent means occurrence of one event. एक event के होने से दूसरे को फर्क नहीं पड़ता, not affecting other event. But mutually exclusive means that two events don't have anything in common. उनमें कुछ common नहीं है. Two things are different from each other. Yes, that is absolutely correct. Independent events can have different sample spaces, but this will be part of the same sample space. Correct. Okay. Okay. So, for example, getting head in tossing second time is independent of the first toss. So, you took a coin, आपने उसे toss किया. You can get head or tail. But when you will toss this coin again, तो उससे उस coin को ये थोड़ी फर्क पड़ा कि what came in the first time. Whether the first time was head or tails, that is not going to impact what will happen the second time. In the second time, coin will give you an independent result, right? So same happens when you play snake and ladder. Just because you got 6 first time doesn't mean you will get 6 second time. The second time when you will throw a dice, the result will be independent. कुछ भी आ सकता है second time में. Whatever happened the first time, उससे फर्क नहीं, right? So when we talk about independent events, occurrence of the first event of one event is not affecting the second event. उससे दूसरे event को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. It will not affect the second event. Now we talk about the definition of probability. So probability is the favorable number of cases divided by the exhaustive number of cases. Let us take a very simple example. So when I toss 2 coins, what are the outcomes I can get? या दोनों head हो जाएंगे. First head, second tail. First tail, second head, or both tails. This will be my sample space. Now, my probability जो मेरे को निकालना है, what I want to find out, find probability of getting at least one head. So what are my favorable events? One head. Where do I see at least one head? Here, here, and here. Here I see 2 head. So because question is saying at least one head, माने either one head or 2 head. So I will see it here, here, and here. So what will I get? Head, head, tail, head, head, tail. Now, how do I define probability? Probability is favorable events upon total events. So what are my favorable events? 1, 2, 3. What are my total events? 1, 2, 3, 4. So probability will be 0.75. So when we talk about probability, it will be favorable events by total number of events. Let's look at some of the questions now. So look here. Two unbiased dice are thrown. Find the probability that both dice will show the same number. So we are going to make one dice matrix, which is very useful in a lot of questions. So when you throw two dice, पहले dice पे it can give you 1, दूसरे dice पे भी 1 आ सकता है. First dice can give you 1, second dice can give you 2, first can give you 1, second can give you 3, first can give you 4, 1, second can give you 4, first can give you 5, 1, 5, 1, 6. And like this, you can just go ahead and you can just cover this up. So first dice can give you 2, second can give you 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 5, 2, 6, 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 3, 5, 3, 6, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, 4, 2, 5, 2, 6, 2. With time, you should be able to do these questions without making this complete thing. This is only for the first time that I am making this for you. बिना ये बनाए एग्जाम में you should be able to do these thoroughly. 6, 3, 6, 4, 6, 5, 6, 6. Now just look here. Both dice show the same number. It means that this is 1, 1, this, and this. So if I look at these, here both dice are showing the same number, right? So how many such outcomes are there? There are 6 such outcomes. What are the total number of outcomes I have? 36. देखो, यहाँ पे 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 into 6, 36 total outcomes are there. So 6 by 36 will be the first answer. Now here I just want to focus on one thing, which I will be just talking about it. And I will be doing it in the coming questions. So here notice that कितने face and dice के a dice is 6 faced. मतलब 6 digits आते हैं उस पे 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So when a dice is a 6-faced dice, so the total number of outcomes that you are getting, they are 6 to the power 2, that means 36 outcomes. This means that when a dice will be n-faced dice, n तक extend कर रहा है. I'm making a general case. So I'm not saying कि इसके सिर्फ 6 faces हैं. It is a n-faced dice. So what will be the total number of outcomes? N square outcomes. Okay. Now you can just try. If I put n equal to 6, so I will get 6 square outcomes. माने अगर इस डाइस के 7 फेसेस होते, हाँ, नंबर 7 तक आ सकता था. If I could have got numbers till 7, right? Then I would have got 7,1, 7,2, 7,3, 7,4, 7,5. 7 would have been included, 7,6, और यहाँ पे आ जाता 7,7. And here I would have had 1,7, 2,7, 3,7, 4,7, 5,7, 6,7. So if you would have seen, you would have had 49 outcomes. है ना? So whenever a dice will be thrown twice, अभी हम twice का ही बात करें. We are talking everything about throwing it twice. So if a dice is thrown twice, then if there are n faces of the dice, there will be n square outcomes. So in exam, if they tell you कि जो dice है, it is 8-faced dice and it is thrown twice. So 8 to the power 2. 9-faced dice, 9 to the power 2. But to the power 2 क्यों? Because I am throwing it twice, right? So that is why to the power 2. Now, here just try to think about the next one. So it is saying first dice shows 6. Second can show anything. The first dice should show 6. That means that I am here. The first dice should show 6. Second say I am not interested. First one should show 6. So what will be the probability of this? There are 6 such outcomes. So I will have 6 divided by 36. And that will be the answer. Now the next one goes ahead and says the total number on dice is 8. So I want that the total sum should be 8. So just try to see here. 6 plus 2 is 8. 5 plus 3 is also 8. 4 plus 4 is also 8. 3 plus 5 is also 8. And 2 plus 6 is also 8. So if I look here, there are 5 such outcomes which give me the sum as 8. So I will get the answer as 5 by 36. The answer will be 5 by 36.